C'tan Shards. The C'tan were once powerful star gods, cosmic beings of pure energy that feasted on the souls of mortals and ruled over the Necrontier. After being betrayed by the very Necrons they once commanded, the C'tan were shattered into fragments. These broken remnants are known as C'tan Shards, and they now serve as weapons, bound in containment fields and forced to fight for the very species that enslaved them. A single shard can obliterate tanks, erase matter, or manipulate gravity with ease. But they are no longer gods. They are tools. The Necrons imprison them inside Tesseract labyrinths, barely stable dimensional prisons that keep their reality-warping powers in check. Despite their unimaginable power, C'tan Shards rank at the very bottom of Necron society. They are slaves, stripped of autonomy and chained to dynastic war engines. Canoptek constructs. They are the single-minded, emotionless, yet efficient silent caretakers of the Necron tomb worlds. Canoptek constructs were created during the Necrons' long slumber as autonomous machines and were programmed to maintain dynastic tomb complexes, repair damaged systems, and eliminate intruders without mercy or hesitation. Unlike the Necrons themselves, Canoptek constructs are not sentient, or they do not house the consciousness of former Necrontier. They instead operate under centralized command protocols, acting as extensions of the tomb world's defense systems, or under the directive of a Necron overlord. Canoptek units range from small, insect-like scarab swarms to towering Canoptek spiders, capable of field repairs, material fabrication, and psychic interference. Wraiths among the most feared can phase through solid matter to strike at enemies behind cover, often appearing and vanishing with deadly precision. Each construct is built from living metal called necrodermis, capable of rapid self-repair and adaptation. Their designs allow them to traverse impossible terrain, infiltrate secure locations, and endure battlefield extremes. Even after the Necron's Great Awakening, Canoptek constructs remain essential. They prepare tomb worlds for reactivation, perform maintenance on ancient systems, and serve as expendable yet powerful assets on the battlefield. Flayed Ones. These creatures are deranged Necron outcasts that can only be compared to zombies, but they are made of metal. Flayed Ones were afflicted by the Flayer Curse, a horrific virus that drives them to an unrelenting, impossible hunger for flesh. Flayed Ones were once ordinary Necrontier who retained fragments of their former selves after biotransference. That sliver of identity decayed into madness, and their necrodermis bodies reshaped to match. Some carry disruption field tech, allowing them to tear through armored vehicles with ease. Their bodies are weirdly stretched with jointed legs suited for crawling, making them terrifyingly agile, and their fingers morph into flensing blades capable of skinning victims alive. Though they cannot eat, they kill to feast while rubbing flesh on their expressionless jaws as blood drips down their plated ribs. They appear without warning, often in the midst of battle, and are never summoned or commanded. Even Necron Overlords and Nemesaurs rarely account for them in strategy, as their presence is never planned for, but Necron commanders tolerate it, accepting whatever chaos or advantage they bring. However, after the battle, they are often hunted down and purged. Other Necrons fear them because of the fact that suspected carriers of the Flayer Curse are destroyed or exiled without hesitation, for the affliction is poorly understood even by Crypteks. Destroyer cults. True to their namesake, destroyers are Necrons consumed by a singular obsession, which is basically the destruction of all life. Those who fall into this state of mind abandon all loyalty to dynasty, protocol, or the Silent King's will. When deployed, they function with terrifying autonomy, engaging in pre-programmed extermination patterns designed to maximize destruction with ruthless efficiency. Equipped with skimming anti-gravity platforms and devastating Gauss cannons, destroyers strike with speed and ferocity. They often open engagements with ranged salvos, softening enemy lines. Despite their usefulness in combat, destroyers still rank low in the Necron hierarchy due to their uncontrollable nature, and they often live in isolation on the fringes of their tomb worlds. Destroyer Lords. While destroyers are mindless agents of extermination, Destroyer Lords are something far more dangerous, as they combine killer instinct with the intelligence of Necron nobility. These beings were once lords or even overlords who were the nobles at the very top of Necron society. But when caught by the destroyer madness, they turn into something truly horrific. Physically, a Destroyer Lord retains the imposing stature and durability of Necron royalty, but their bodies are grotesquely modified for war. Fused to anti-gravity platforms with integrated war scythes, hyperphase weapons, or Gauss destructors, they are an extreme threat on the battlefield. They operate independently or take temporary control of nearby destroyers, guiding them with ruthless efficiency. While still unpredictable, their ability to plan and adapt makes them far more lethal than their unthinking counterparts. Necron Warriors. They form the skeletal backbone of every Necron dynasty's military might. Necron warriors are soulless remnants of a once great empire, forever bound to ancient commands and the will of their leaders. Unlike other troops under a Nemazor's command, these warriors lack any sense of independence. If left to their own devices, they revert to static guard routines, unleashing synchronized bursts of Gauss flare fire at anything that dares to cross their line of sight. These automatons are completely silent, and their ability to vocalize was intentionally stripped away, rendering them voiceless even amidst the chaos of battle. Only when they suffer severe damage do they emit a chilling electronic wail. Their necrodermis bodies can endure tremendous damage, as dismembered limbs or severed heads often do little to stop their relentless advance. And if their self-repair systems kick in, they can reassemble and jump back into the fight in mere moments. Necron Armory Crew. They operate the Necrons' legendary machines, taking on roles as pilots, engineers, and systems controllers. The Necron Armory Crew are specialists who focus not on direct combat, but on the operation and upkeep of these war engines. Unlike the standard warriors, members of the Armory Crew have enhanced cognitive abilities. They are selected for their knack for interpreting complex battlefield data and for their ability to interface directly with ancient Necron technology like the Monolith, Doomsday Arc, and Ghost Arc. Though they often go unnoticed by Necron Command, their contributions are absolutely vital. They execute commands with mechanical precision, ensuring that every aspect of their vehicle runs smoothly amidst the chaos of battle. Necron Immortals. These elite troops were once at the top of the Necrontyr legions, who got rewarded with advanced bodies that are superior to a warrior in every possible way. Equipped with Gauss blasters or Tesla carbines, Immortals can unleash devastating barrages that can obliterate both armor and flesh. Their necrodermis bodies are built to endure heavy fire, and thanks to their self-repair systems, many can rise again to continue the fight, even after being brought down. Unlike the standard warriors, Immortals still carry a faint echo of their past selves. Deep within them, there is still a flicker of tactical reasoning and memory, a cold instinct for combat that has been sharpened over countless millennia. Deathmarks. As their name suggests, they are the ultimate assassins of the Necrons, cold, calculating snipers that emerge from the very fabric of reality. Once a target is marked by deathmarks, their death becomes not just a possibility, but a certainty. To their unsuspecting victims, it might feel as if they just appeared out of thin air. The reality is far more chilling. They were already there, lurking, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Crafted with a more sophisticated necrodermis frame, Deathmarks feature a single glowing optic sensor and mysterious energy orbs running down their spines. Their stealth is unmatched among the Necrons, and while their movements are deliberate, they are hauntingly silent. Armed with synaptic disintegrators, these weapons unleash leptonic beams that can instantly turn the brain and nervous system to liquid. Even a non-lethal shot leaves victims as mere shadows of their former selves. The Hunter's Mark, a 5-dimensional energy signature placed on a selected target, allows Deathmarks to track their prey across any distance or barrier. This means that walls, bunkers, and rough terrain provide no sanctuary for their targets. Triarch Praetorians. They are the guardians of ancient law, serving as impartial judges and enforcers of Necrontyr tradition. Unlike their fellow Necrons, they don't pledge allegiance to any dynasty or overlord. Their loyalty is solely to the Triarch, the long-gone ruling council of the Necrontyr Empire, along with the codes of honor and law it set in place long before the war in heaven. Praetorians stand out physically, boasting regal necrodermis frames, spinal-mounted gravity displacement packs, and an almost supernatural grace in battle. They wield the Rod of Covenant, a powerful symbol of their ancient authority and a fearsome weapon that can unleash crackling blasts or crush enemies in close combat. Some opt for void blades and particle casters, which allow for graceful yet deadly close-quarters fighting. Their mission is to uphold the integrity of Necron civilization by patrolling the stars, visiting tomb worlds to rebind the dynasties, enforcing forgotten protocols, and correcting any deviations in governance and warfare. Lychguards. They are the elite honor guard for the Necron nobility, ancient warriors brought back to life to fiercely protect Phaerons, Overlords, and Lords. More than just bodyguards, Lychguards are skilled tacticians able to adjust to the ever-changing dynamics of the battlefield. Clad in intricate necrodermis armor, they wield either war scythes, which can slice through tanks and terminators with ease, or a combination of hyperphase swords and dispersion shields, creating a formidable mix of offense and unyielding defense. In the heat of battle, Lychguards serve as a stronghold at the core of Necron formations. They stabilize battle lines, spot assassins, and frequently deploy via Night Scythe transports to directly target enemy commanders. Whether they're advancing in formation or teleporting into the chaos, they're always found where the action is most intense and quickly decapitating enemies with sweeping, precise strikes. Royal Wardens. They are the iron will of a Necron noble as an elite battlefield commander, whose sole purpose is to enforce the will of their lord or overlord with absolute precision. Royal Wardens serve as the voice, eyes, and command rod of their master, tasked with executing complex tactical objectives. They are typically armed with relic Gauss blasters or enhanced versions of the traditional Gauss weaponry, capable of atomizing targets with sustained precision fire. Despite their fearsome efficiency in battle, not all Royal Wardens remain entirely intact after enduring countless millennia of stasis and warfare. And with time, some suffer programmatic senility, subtle glitches, memory decay, or confused behavior that occasionally undermines their effectiveness. These incidents are often overlooked so long as the Warden continues to serve obediently. Crypteks. They are the masters of science and arcana within the Necron dynasties, a unique blend of engineer, arcane genius, and a silent menace to anyone who underestimates their capabilities. Crypteks bend the very laws of physics to their will, using technology so advanced that it seems like sorcery. These ancient tech wizards excel in dimensional manipulation, atomic transformation, and energy control. A Cryptek can turn an enemy into liquid adamantium, compress them into dwarf star matter, or set the air ablaze, all thanks to their incredibly advanced tools and technomagic. Their influence is vast even if they don't hold formal positions in the dynastic hierarchy, as they stand as the final strongholds of Necron scientific knowledge. They oversee the Tomb Worlds, create and command Canoptek constructs. Some overlords invite Crypteks into their royal courts, offering rare materials and political leverage in exchange for the Crypteks' expertise. However, this alliance can be dangerous. Crypteks who gain too much power can ignite jealousy and power struggles, often resulting in rivalries within their circle or even outright sabotage. Necron Lords. They are essentially nobles who have been reborn in necrodermis, one of the rare few who manage to keep their full awareness after undergoing biotransference. Necron Lords are commanders that rank just below Overlords, often governing a tomb world or leading entire war phalanxes in service of their ancient liege. Clad in arcane vestments and sheathed in age-worn necrodermies, a lord is both general and executioner. They wield weapons such as the Staff of Light, War Scythe, Void Blade, and Rod of Night. In battle, the presence of a lord triggers heightened responses from the nodal command system. The more an enemy fights back, the more ferocious the Tomb World's retaliation becomes, unleashing advanced technologies and war machines. Some lords get assigned specific tasks and become harbingers. The Harbinger of Awakening reactivates dormant Tomb Worlds, while the Harbinger of the Storm orchestrates invasions cloaked to resume the Necrons' conquest of the galaxy. Overlords. Truly one of the most powerful figures within a Necron dynasty, Overlord stands as high commanders steeped in ancient power. They govern entire crown worlds and core worlds, wielding command over fleets, armies, and the extensive technological might of the Necrons. Their massive necrodermis frames are incredibly resilient, able to withstand weaponry that could easily obliterate tanks, and they possess the strength to crush plasteel with their bare hands. They preside over royal courts filled with lords, crypteks, wardens, and Lychguard, all dedicated to fulfilling their commands. However, this inner circle is also a hotbed of cold intrigue and silent rivalry. In war, overlords either ride in catacomb command barges or lead their phalanxes straight into the battle. They wield elite weaponry such as war scythes, gauntlets of fire, Tachyon arrows, but it's their synthetic brilliance that truly makes them fearsome. Phaerons. While every Phaeron holds the title of Overlord, not every Overlord is a Phaeron. The key difference lies in their scale of command. A Phaeron oversees multiple tomb worlds, leads legions of nobles, and governs an empire that spans the cosmos. When they decree that a planet must fall, it crumbles. Dynasties such as Zarikon can even have several Phaerons serving under a single ruling Phaeron. Though they may be subordinates in name, each still commands vast territories of influence. No Phaeron is more renowned in this age than Imhotep the Stormlord, leader of the Sautic dynasty and ruler of 80 active tomb worlds. His legendary campaigns are the stuff of tales, and his will is absolute. Phaerons don't just command, they empower. Their presence strengthens their legions, radiating an unshakable will that infects every subordinate with the same relentless drive to reclaim the galaxy. The Triarch. Before the biotransference, before the Catan, and before the Silence, the Necrontyr were under the rule of three. The Triarch was the ancient governing triumvirate of the Necrontyr Empire, a council made up of three powerful Phaerons who stood above all others. At the forefront was the Silent King, the first among equals, who communicated only through his two companions. Together, they maintained order, regulated dynasties, and kept the feuding nobility of a dying species in line. This balance lasted for millions of years until Sarek came along. His fellow Triarchs were killed in the uprising and no successors were appointed. The Triarch crumbled, and the Necrons fell into silence. Even after Sarek's return in M41, he hasn't re-established the old council. Instead, he rules solo. Mesophet of the Shadowed Hand and Heptatra the Radiant stand by his side aboard the Dais of Dominion, silent and synchronized, a puppet reflection of a once equal court. The Silent King. Sharek was the last to hold the title of Silent King, supreme leader of the Necron tier, the architect of their immortality, and the one who nearly doomed them all. When he ruled, the Necron tier were already locked in a losing war with the Old Ones. Desperate, he turned to ancient beings of cosmic power, the Catan, star gods who promised salvation, and so came the bargain that would reshape history. He oversaw the biotransference, a process that stripped the Necron tier of flesh and soul, locking their consciousness into cold, undying necrodermis. In an instant, they became Necrons. It was only after the transformation that Sarek understood what he had done. With vengeance taken and new threats on the rise, he gave his final command, the Great Sleep. Across the stars, dynasties shut down, stasis tombs sealed, and 60 million years of silence began. Then he vanished, severing all command protocols and casting himself into exile in the intergalactic void. During the Great Sleep, the Silent King has witnessed the rise of the Imperium, the madness of chaos, and the Tyranids' approach. Now that the Necrons have begun awakening in the 41st millennium, Zarek has returned to save his race from these threats. Thanks for watching until the end. Click here to check out another video and see you in the next one.